Oh boy, everybody. My name's Big Cam. Welcome back to another trailer reaction. My goodness, did Christopher Nolan's The Odyssey trailer just drop last night. Apparently people are not liking it for some reason online. I can't even comprehend to even think about how people aren't liking this. I just saw the trailer myself for the first time in my entire... Normally I just get chill bumps on like my right arm, my left arm, my entire back. I can feel chill bumps all over my entire body, down to my toe follicles. Like, I literally am getting an out-of-body experience plus an in-body experience from this trailer. Like, I don't know what is happening here, but Christopher Nolan has made a freaking masterpiece. And like, I think he debuted this on Colbert last night, but my goodness is this trailer good, and even the poster, and just the cast of this too. Matt Damon, Tom Holland, Anne Hathaway, Robert Pattinson, Lupita Nyong'o, Zendaya, and Charlize Theron. Like, dude. And we haven't even seen any of Zendaya's character, so we don't even know what she's about. But Odyssey is here on the cover with the red mohawk, looking jacked as fuck. The Trojan horse in the background. My goodness, dude, this trailer is so sick. Why not jump on into it and start pointing out what we noticed? But my goodness, dude, get your chill bumps ready for this film. And there's a part at the end of this trailer. If Christopher Nolan does what I think he's gonna do, you bad man. Oh, my goodness. But let's jump on into this trailer and start picking out what we notice.
Tell me what you remember.
A wife? A son?
And then what?
We won the war. Help me go home.
Oh boy, from the legendary director Chris Nolan from Universal, obviously a Sin Copy Picture, which I believe is his producing company or whatnot. But we open on waves, and you can tell these are real waves out in the ocean somewhere, crashing as Matt Damon is just floating on a freaking raft, about to get eaten by a shark at any moment. And we hear Charlize Theron's voice, and we don't necessarily know what her character quite is yet, but we hear her talking to Odysseus saying, "Tell me what you remember." And Matt Damon's Odysseus says that he remembers a wife and a son. And we see Anne Hathaway's character is his wife, and Telemachus, I believe is what his name is, but Tom Holland is playing Odysseus' son. And Charlize Theron we see for the first time looking exactly like Charlize Theron, so goddamn gorgeous. And she says to him, "And then what?" And we see shots of the Trojan horse and what looks like the Trojans or whatever Odysseus's men are coming out of the belly of the horse. And he says that they won the war, and we see them charging into what has to be Troy, I'm guessing, and defeating whoever they're facing, Agamemnon's people, who I think that is Agamemnon right there in his suit of armor, and going to be played by Benny Safdie, I believe. He says that they won the war, and we see shots of John Bernthal standing there going, you know, like letting out his Punisher roar, but he's got a bald head and a big old thick beard, and I don't know, he's probably a part of Odysseus's troops. And he's, you know, when he says we won the war, we see a tower get collapsed and explode behind him. Not sure how that happens. They don't necessarily have bombs in this time, right? Maybe it's a fireball or something that crashes into it. But then he ends that little portion of the clip by saying, "Help me go home." And he's got this big white beard and long hair, so it looks like he's been maybe stuck at sea for a long time, and he's trying to get back home. And, you know, he's so determined, and maybe that's what this entire movie's about, is just a journey home. And it's going to start with him leaving home, and it's going to go on this long adventure before he ends up back home. And, you know, I have a feeling that all of his crew that he leaves with, he's going to be the only one to return. I feel like everybody he leaves home with is all gonna die, and maybe even he dies or gets stuck somewhere, and Tom Holland has to go find him. I don't know, but on to the next portion of this trailer.
This is a household waiting for a master. I want you to choose me. Ithaca's king is coming back. No, he's not. What would he do if he came back?
back here and find all these suitors in his house.
They're pining for a daddy. He didn't even know. Like some sniveling bastard.
Oh my god, I'm gonna love Pattinson in this role. Pattinson playing a villain, talking shit to Tommy Holland. Like, my goodness, this is gonna be so good. But just these visuals, like, this looks like a real friggin' castle up on top of this mountain. And we hear Robert Pattinson's character, who has to be the villain of this story. And it seems like because Odysseus is gone, and he's been gone for months, there's a bunch of these guys that are trying to take his place as the next king or whatever, and trying to take the wife's hand, Anne Hathaway's hand, as her next suitor. And he's like, I want you to choose me. But it says, this household is waiting for a master. I want you to choose me. So I think this is what Pattinson's saying to her. And we see her with a bow and arrow in her hand. And she's like, Ithaca's king is coming back. And he's like, no, it's not. And we see shots of Matt Damon's Odysseus in a cave somewhere. And this is what we saw in a previous shot. And we thought that this might have been the Cyclops. And we see our first shots of the Cyclops, mostly in shadow, getting glown only by the firelight in front of him. But he definitely has one eye, and he maybe has something in his hand, like a small person maybe, or maybe that's just what scale looks like. You know, maybe he's got like a doll in his hand, but maybe that's a dude, and this Cyclops is very big. I don't know, but my goodness, this looks crazy. And then, of course, this gorgeous landscape with that castle in the background as we see Telemachus, Tom Holland's character, training. And he looks like he's talking to John Leguizamo's character. And this is the oldest John Leguizamo has ever looked. And he's like, what would he do if he came back to find all these suitors in his house? And we don't hear John Leguizamo's answer, but I'm sure it's going to be either something funny or something like, he would kill everybody in the building. As we then see Tom Holland's character dragging somebody off a bench, I think. And Corey Hawkins' character kind of laughing at the table, as maybe he's one of the suitors that is trying to get with his mom in this house. And maybe that's like this whole thing is like, we then hear Pattinson say, you're pining for a daddy you didn't even know, like some sniveling bastard. Pattinson, if this is the type of line deliveries and type of dialogue he's going to be delivering in this movie, I am so here for it. I mean, not let alone that he's also going to be in Dune Part 3 as some type of villain character as well. So he's going to play like back-to-back villains and then go be Batman again. Like, God, I love Pattinson's choice of movies, you know, and then he comes off Mickey 17 and some of the other stuff that he's been doing, the drama and whatnot. Like, Pattinson just so unique with his choices, and I really love it. But on to the next portion of this trailer.
Who's looking after your wife and son?
Do you see?
My dad is coming home.
Bringing vengeance. Bringing it all.
Oh, July 17th is going to be here before we freaking know it. We're like, what, 2 months out from this at this point? Like, my goodness. But we see them walking across this, like, maybe dusty, maybe afterlife type planet. And we see somebody covered in mud who I thought sounded like Pattinson, but it doesn't look like him. And the kid says, who's looking after your wife and son? As we see Matt Damon sitting there, like, looking down at the ground and all of the rest of his crew behind him. And, you know, who's looking after your wife and son, as we then see Pattinson pulling a knife out of a sheath, and then we see some other character covered in mud with like a cloth over his eyes saying, do you see? As this character probably doesn't see, maybe? And we see shots of like a beach, and then it cuts to Tom Holland saying, my dad is coming home. Just the way that he said dad, like, that's how they call it. It wouldn't have been, my father will return. You know, and so he's like, my dad's coming. You know, like, all right, my dad is coming home. And then we cut to some person on this boat, it seems, and he's got, maybe that's John Leguizamo's character, but it looks like he's got blue eyes, so maybe he's like some type of oracle or prophet or something. And it says that, like, my dad's coming home, bringing vengeance. As we then see Odysseus putting on his helmet, and he says to somebody with, like, you know, a longer beard and longer hair, and he says that I'm bringing it all. So he's bringing vengeance, but he's bringing it all, baby. And then we see him and his, like, crew as he leads them into battle, saying, you know, let's go, as they all charge. And it looks like 1,000 extras charging on this dark sanded beach or something. Wow. Wow. Christopher Nolan, man, is such a legend in like the filmmaking techniques in this. Like all the set locations, the costume design, the cinematography, everything so far looks freaking phenomenal. But there's only 2 more sections to this trailer, so let's continue on.
I need everyone at this party dead. I can still save them.
You're a man who needs to control his fate. But you cannot control this. That world is gone.
Oh no. What world is gone? You better not do what I'm thinking of. Oh, Christopher Nolan. We'll talk about it in a second. But at the beginning of that clip, we see a giant dudes in shining silver armor charging, and like Odysseus looking at them like, oh shit, these guys are bigger than I expected. And it looks like it's maybe like snowing as well. And it looks like they walk up and just bash Odysseus to the side, or maybe that's somebody next to him, because I think Odysseus has the red mohawk, but just the dude next to him just gets yolloped to the side and like gets thrown through a tree. This guy's got a hold of his like mohawk thing and he's swinging down at him. Odysseus is like trying to stab him between the armor plates. Like, who are these guys? Giants? Like, as soon as I saw these guys, I was like, who the fuck are these giant bastards? And I kept seeing that clip of that giant guy picking up that dude and throwing him through a tree. So, like, you know, I knew that a trailer had to have dropped, but I didn't think it was the Odyssey. I was like, oh, I wonder what that's for. But, my goodness, who is these guys? Giants in giant armor fighting Odysseus's men, and Odysseus hopefully survives. I'm sure he does, but we then cut to Pattinson saying to Corey Hawkins and the rest of these characters here that I need everyone in his party dead. So it looks like Pattinson really is the villain. And not only does he plot, you know, to take the king's seat and take his wife, and he's talking shit to his son. It seems like he's trying to, you know, sabotage his return, and he's trying to kill them all on their journey so that they don't return. You know what I mean? Where like Odysseus must be a really good king, but also somebody that like they want to get out of power, who's been in power a long time. He must be the voice of reason. You know what I mean? Like where everyone's like, I want to do cool shit. This guy keeps being a fucking buzzkill. You know, like I don't know. But Pattinson definitely is going to be the villain in this. That's the vibe I'm getting from him. And we see Tom Holland walking with somebody, Pattinson looking evil, and we see a boat crashing over some waves as friggin' Matt Damon says, I can still save them. And we see somebody getting blasted off the side of the boat from like winds and a crazy wave coming in. And we see that Matt Damon is saying this to CHARLIZE Theron's character. And she says, you are a man who needs to control his fate, as she gives him like this little golden person that he's carrying around with him as like a little trinket or something. Or maybe this is something he got from his wife and that reminds him of home or something. But we see, you know, CHARLIZE Theron and him walking in like this desert, in this middle of nowhere desert, and you know he's trying to control his fate. And you know we see him marching in with his troops, and then we cut to Tom Holland punching, it looks like Corey Hawkins' character, before he slams him to the ground and then points him at knife point. Shots of Matt Damon screaming while he's like tied up against a tree. We see shots of him kissing Anne Hathaway's character, and we see shots of a little puppy, and then she says the world is gone, or that world is gone. And then we see a shot of what has to be that puppy as an older dog, and maybe he's petting him, but it doesn't look like that dog's in the best condition. So are we going to get a very, very cute puppy in this movie that nobody's expecting, especially somebody that hasn't read the books? And then we're going to get that dog killed in this movie? Christopher Nolan, if you put a handsome dog in this movie and then kill him, oh my god, you are going to upset so many people. But, you know, she says that world is gone, and now on to the final portion of this trailer.
No one could stand between me and home. Not even the gods. I think it's asleep.
Wow. Wow. So we end the trailer with screams in darkness. Like, what? But we open that last piece of the trailer with his a boat in the middle of nowhere crashing on the waves, and yeah, like crazy. A bunch of dudes running across the sandy beaches with like a forest in the backgrounds, and then we see that boat still in the water as we hear Matt Damon's Odysseus saying, "No one can stand between me and home." And we see shots of Pattinson seemingly fighting people or maybe giving a rousing speech. We see Odysseus trying to man his boat in the middle of a storm, thunder and lightning and rain crashing down on them, and yeah, it just looks like a crazy shot that I can't even believe that they can even see him at all, let alone friggin' that they're doing it, you know, like that none of this is CGI, I think, you know, most to all of this is real rain, real water, real boats, real ocean, real way, you know, like, wow, like it just looks so good. Matt Damon looks in the best shape of his life. He's jacked, but he also has this real long beard and long hair, so he looks great, but he also looks old and disheveled and homeless. But he says, "No one can stand in my way, not even the gods," as we then cut to the shot of like the treetops as it looks like this giant creature is walking through the woods, and maybe that's the Cyclops just being outside now, and maybe he really is that big, or maybe this is another giant that they have to face, and my goodness. So we then see the boys running into the ocean still, and then, you know, it cuts away as they're like on the boat rowing, and it looks like they're trying to get out of a whirlpool or I don't know, a sinkhole in the ocean. I don't even know what that is. That has to be CGI, I'm thinking, but my goodness, that looks terrifying. You know, their boat is a little too close for comfort. Why all that water? You couldn't have sailed further away from this hole? Like, come on, guys. Yeah, no, and he's like, "Keep us straight." Yeah, no kidding. You don't want to go into that hole? Watch, their boat will go right into that hole, and that will be a whole nother problem for them. Maybe that's how they get to that afterlife place. Who knows? But we then see them, you know, charging into the castle. That has to be the Troy battle, and then charging to the guys on, you know, boats arriving on the shore. So maybe they're killing these guys arriving, or maybe they're trying to get on the boats to leave. But then we see characters fighting up on the sails, and somebody gets ripped through one of the sails, it looks like. Maybe like a kraken-like creature grabs somebody. That's terrifying. And then we see fire getting thrown, and Odysseus lopping off the head of a statue somewhere. Or maybe that's not Odysseus. Maybe that's just some guy lopping off the head of this statue. Now, is that statue of Lupita Nyong'o? Maybe? I think I kind of recognize her in there. So maybe this is Troy and Helena Troy. I don't know. You know, you get the point. But then they cut to the title card, The Odyssey, and we end with a shot of Matt Damon saying, "I think it's asleep." And then a giant hand grabs one of these dudes out of the darkness, and we end in screams of this man getting carried away into this cave as 7/17/26, shot entirely without IMAX film cameras. This movie might be the one movie that I make the effort to go find a good IMAX screen. I mean, at most, or at the very worst, I'll go to a really good Dolby screen, but yeah, like this film, like Sinners, some other films that are shot and meant to be seen on IMAX, you kind of have to do it the due diligence that they deserve, you know, and go to the biggest screen possible to see it. And this epic is going to be epic, you know what I mean? And I think it's got to be somewhere near 3 hours. The cast, Pattinson, Bernthal's in there, Zendaya, Lupita Nyong'o, CHARLIZE, THERON, Leguizamo, Corey Hawkins, Tom Holland, Matt Damon, Christopher fucking Nolan directing the thing. Like, this movie has so much to go for it. It has, you know, the history, it has the book, right? Like, everyone loves the book, or, you know, history buffs love the book, you know what I mean? Many people have read the book over thousands of years. You know, it's yeah, this is going to be huge. This is, like, I thought Oppenheimer was big and the whole Barbenheimer experience. This Odyssey is going to be something else. And July will be the month of the Odyssey. I don't think there's any other films being like, oh, I want to, you know what, I want to go up against the Odyssey. Yeah, I don't think anybody's saying that. I think the Odyssey is going to be a film that, like, every seat in the theater will be sold out and people will be butts in seats for this one. Me personally, I'm here for it. I know there's some people out there that aren't liking this. And if you disagree with me, don't feel like you have to. I would love to chat with you about this, and there's ways to disagree with people and not be an asshole. So, you know, if you want to share your thoughts, I would love to hear them. I'd love to chat more with people that like movies and love this kind of stuff. Anybody that maybe has some more knowledge about the books, you know, without any, you know, crucial spoilers. Maybe tell me what's going on here that I didn't notice. If there's anything that you noticed in this trailer that I didn't call out, please drop that down in the comment section below, or feel free, or send me a message on my other social medias. Links for those down in the description below. But if you made it this far into the video, I highly appreciate you guys, and like I said, I really want to chat more with movie lovers and Christopher Nolan fans and movie buffs and anybody in between, because this looks insane. And oh, I had a good time breaking it down, but I have chill bumps all the way across my body. I need to see this on a big screen, right? Like the next time I go to movies, I can't wait to see this on a trailer on a big screen for this. And yeah, oh, can't wait. But that's enough for me, y'all. Thank you guys so much for joining me. If you made it this far in the video and you would like to support the channel further, the best way of doing that is liking this video, commenting down in the comment section below, subscribing if you haven't already, and hit that bell so you don't miss future trailer reactions and you get the notifications when those come out. And I guess I'll see you baddies in July for a movie breakdown on the Odyssey. And that's it for me, y'all. My name is Big Cam once again, and I'll see you gorgeous folks in the next video. Peace!